नमस्ते बिटिया, हमेशा खुश रहो बिटिया. This is JV'n, Professor Dr. Anil Kumar Vangani, HOD Department of Repertory. Today I am going to take a lecture on an overview of Kant's thinking. देखिए, हम कैंट रिपर्टरी पे बहुत ज़्यादा जोर देते हैं, तो कैंट की एक बेसिक थिंकिंग क्या थी जिसको हम फॉलो कर रहे हैं, उसके क्या पक्ष और विपक्ष में क्या बातें हो सकती हैं, उन सब पे हम विचार करेंगे. So I welcome you all in this 1 p.m. class occurring on digital version 2 at JVW platform, which is best women university in India. We are delivering these digital sessions on YouTube video channel at following link as per schedule provided by the university, having best homeopathic college in Jaipur. So please listen carefully the lecture and drop your queries in comment box, which we will answer in solving session day, which will be decided by the university once in a week. So let us now begin with the digital session. So Kant's work, especially the Kant repertory, is paid so much importance that many homeopathic practitioners and lovers of homeopathy know only Kant repertory in the name of repertory. So Kant repertory has become synonymous with repertory because it is so much famous. Dr. Kant believed that man in his origin was pure and in perfect health, and there is no hereditary transfer of miasm, but the transfer of physical makeup, that is constitution, and mental makeup or mental behavior, that is temperamental characteristic, is there by heredity. Miasm are the result of our evil thinking and maladjustment with our environment, which can be psychic or physical. So this was the thinking of Dr. Kant, which is right to some extent, and we believe in this theory nowadays. Psychosomatic disorders are so much there that it's very important to practice meditation, to keep our thoughts pure, so as to win over various diseases, because our way of thinking is cause of various diseases nowadays. There are many positive aspects of Kant repertory to deserve this designation, but certain shortcomings of Kant's philosophy and Kant's method should also be kept in view for its balanced use. Therefore, a critical review becomes necessary. Many positive things are there, but a limited negative uh, things are also there about Kant's repertory. We must go through them to understand or to grasp Kant's repertory, Kant's philosophy, so we may use it successfully in clinical practice. Dr. Kant believed that man in his origin was pure and perfect in health, and miasm is just the result of evil thinking, maladjustment with environment, as I've already said. He regarded the body language, gestures, grimaces to show the beauty or ugliness of the soul, for which otherwise there is little evidence. So Dr. Henneman has also said that whatever there is affection in vital force is reflected by signs and symptoms externally in the behavior of the patient, by some eruptions on the skin, or by symptoms of the disease. So it is represented by various signs and symptoms, which is reaction of vital force, which is cry of vital force. So it is represented in gestures, grimaces, and the language of the patient. So he was an extraordinary teacher of materia medica also. He used to teach materia medica so well. He was so famous that a lot of people have taken advantage of his teachings at that time. He developed and delivered clear basic images of remedies based upon a wealth of experience with cases. We know he was a good practitioner also. He had seen several thousands of cases in his time. So he was having a wealth of experience with cases. So he was able to teach according to his clinical experiences. And I would like to tell, on the other hand, he was a very religious person. So he was able to believe in the spiritual theories, as Dr. Hahnemann has also told that a living human body consists of body, mind, and spirit. What is the spirit? The spiritual aspect is must to necessary, is must to understand the disease process because it starts from mind. So the disease starts in dynamic realm, in the spiritual and the mental aspect, and then comes to the physical aspect. This Dr. Kent believed, and he could understand this very well because he was a, a religious believer. He treated a wide range of patients in his clinics at that time. He wrote in vivid and quotable language. He wrote in a Hahnemann aphoristic style. जैसे कि आप जानते हैं हैनीमैन ने पैरा बाय पैरा एफोरिस्टिक स्टाइल में राइटिंग्स की हैं. डॉक्टर कैंट ने भी उसे फॉलो किया. He taught homeopathy to many people. He made some rare observations about various remedies which he included in his Materia Medica. He was writer of all the three branches of homeopathy, that is organon, Materia Medica, and repertory. He used the high potencies and promoted their use along with others in a really artistic way. Artistic repertorization was discovery of Dr. Kent himself. This artistic repertorization consists of eliminative way of repertorization, which makes it easy to reach at the medicine because only limited number of medicines are left after using eliminative rubrics. He had a very clear grasp of the Hahnemannian principles and organon of medicine. He was staunch believer of Hahnemannian theories, especially the principles laid in organon of medicine. He had astute idea about homeopathy and practiced homeopathy very well. So he was a staunch believer of Hahnemann organon and therefore had a good grasp on homeopathy and was a good physician, and he was looking after or he was practicing on several patients. So he practiced homeopathy very well. Therefore, he was a very good teacher. He was a tireless soldier of homeopathy in general and of classical homeopathy in particular. He never believed on the modern type of homeopathic prescribings, which are based on pathological and clinical rubrics. So he was follower of classical homeopathy of Dr. Hahnemann. He was the main proponent of the single remedy approach. He never believed on polypharmacy. He used to prescribe single medicine to each patient following Hahnemannian principles. But the way was a little different. He used eliminative repertorization giving value to mental symptoms, especially the qualified mental symptoms, especially the symptoms of will and understanding, and the peculiar things amongst them. He based the prescription on those peculiar mental symptoms. This was eliminative way of repertorization, which was different from Hahnemann. Hahnemann used to practice totality of symptoms, which was a broader way, but this was an easier way. He was the main proponent of one dose of high potency remedy and to wait and watch up till its action exhausts. Hahnemann has also uh, said this in various works that always try to give proper time for the action of medicine to exhaust. Never repeat the dose of medicine in between. Otherwise, it will only harm the patient and the cure will be delayed. He had a very clear grasp of the miasm theory and its relation with patients and our remedies in materia medica. So, in chronic disease, Dr. Hahnemann has given the miasmatic theory, and Dr. Kant believed in that theory and how to relate it with the patients and how to practice materia medica, how to apply materia medica on the patients according to this miasmatic theory, he was knowing very well. He had a very clear grasp about classical case taking method, leading to selection of single medicine. You will reach at the single medicine only when you follow the classical case taking method, the principles of which are laid down by Dr. Hahnemann in Organon of Medicine. He proposed doctrine of series in degrees, that is the idea of octave of centesimal potencies from 30 to potency. So he proposed the doctrine of series of degrees mean to give medicine, to give the indicated medicine in the patient in the ascending potencies, for example, from 6, 30, 200, 1M, 10M, 50M, CM, MM. So this is known as the octave of centesimal potencies. So he was the uh, discoverer of this doctrine of series of degrees. Like Plato, he proposed that there are two realms. One is the spiritual or dynamic realm, and the other is the material. So the disease starts from dynamic or spiritual realm, that is by evil thinking, that is sora. The sora arises in our mind, then comes to the body. So the disease starts in our mind or the spiritual realm. It's based on our evil thinking, and then only it comes on the physical body. He was believer of this theory like Plato. Hahnemann was also believer of this theory. He believed the outer visible material world to be largely a world of results arising from the world of causation or dynamism. He believed the high potency of medicine approaches the spiritual being of the organism, the dynamic being of the organism, while low potency approaches only the material being of it. And so he was proponent of using the high potencies. See, Hahnemann practiced only up to 200 most of the times, but Kant started using from 1000 to potencies, and also in ascending, increasing scale, known as doctrine of ascending or doctrine of series in degrees. He proposed that going higher in potency means going in more central, more dynamic aspect of the organism into the mental and spiritual cause. Therefore, the disease can be completely eradicated and cure can be established by giving higher and higher potencies in series. He believed the inner, hidden, spiritual world to be a world of causes or dynamic miasms. As we have already discussed, that the disease starts in spiritual or realm of mind, that is spiritual dynamic realm, and then comes to the material body. So he was the believer of it, and he believed that the inner, hidden spiritual world is the cause of the dynamic miasms. So Sora starts from our evil thinking in the dynamic realm. Then only the symptoms appear in the physical realm. So the higher potencies are able to reach at this central cause or the dynamic realms. He believed that physical symptoms are the results of disease, whereas the cause of disease lies in dynamism. So all the physical symptoms are just the result of disease. For example, if you are having any abscess, you are having any infection, it is because uh, our vitality is reduced just because of our thinking, our lifestyle, our way of reacting to our environment, which has lowered our vitality, our immunity, that the opportunistic bacteria has infected us. So the cause is not bacteria. The cause is low immunity, which is because of our lifestyle, our thinking. He believed the causes of disease to be immaterial and and these causes are embedded in an immaterial realm. So the real causes are in immaterial realm in the dynamic miasms, which affect the dynamic vital force. He viewed bacteria as just organism or scavenger which are result of disease process, but the cause of disease is in the dynamic world. He viewed true causes as dynamic ones like energy, electricity, light, magnetism, gravity, immoral thinking, etc. So not only our immoral thinking, but the dynamic natural influences like gravity, magnetism, light, electricity, energy, energy from stars, these are all affecting us. These are all interacting with our dynamic vital force all the time. He believed the vital force to be the true representative of the soul in the organism. He believed the corpse is lifeless because the vital force has departed and diffused into general dynamic realm, that is the spiritual realm. We Indian believe this theory that after death the soul departs from the physical body and merges into its uh, source, that is the spiritual realm. The same was the same was the belief of Dr. Kent. He believed the miasms fundamentally originate in our conscience, especially by immoral conduct, that is originating from doing and thinking wrong or committing sins. As we know that if we are having some wrong thinking, some immoral thinking, our body knows that, whether the externally the other persons are not knowing, but our body will know that, will this will be communicated, the message will be communicated to our body physically, and the pathological changes happen. So our conscience, it catches this immoral conduct, the immoral thinking, and the diseases originate in the uh, form of various miasms. He believed Sora to be the foundation of all illness, and that without Sora, all sickness would be impossible. Because this evil thinking, first of all, affecting the conscience, gives rise to Sora. So the first indication of disease is SORA. Psychosis and syphilis are always secondary. So he rightly believed it that SORA is the foundation of all diseases. Kahneman also said this in Organon that, especially in chronic disease, that 7 by 8th of all chronic maladies originate from SORA alone. He asserted that the miasmatic remedies had a special elevated place in homeopathy and were solely capable of curing all chronic disease and of restoring a person into a state of perfect health and blissfulness. So, as per the definition of WHO, also, a state of health is what? It is balance between body, mind, and spirit. All these things. We should also feel mentally blissful along with healthy state in the physical aspects. So homeopathy is capable of restoring the person in this state, that is in perfect physical health and blissfulness. He believed the high potencies as being solely capable of reaching into dynamic realm and thus solely capable of destroying the true causes of disease, that is the dynamic miasms. We know the physical remedies, the crude remedies, they are only capable of acting on physical body or the physical causes or the end causes or the scavengers of disease, which are known as bacteria or virus. But the real causes are our dynamic, which are lying in our dynamic realm, in our way of thinking, in our immoral conducts, which has lowered our vitality, lowered our immunity, and therefore these bacteria, virus, they are affecting us. At a time, not all the persons they catch the infection. A few are escaped and a few are affected just because of their vitality or the immune system. He believed that the most complex and chronic diseases, for example, carcinoma, tuberculosis, mental illness, they arise from the deepest dynamic causes and are thus curable solely by the highest potencies, and that too of anti-miasmatic nature. This is true. Hahnemann also regarded these chronic diseases because of these chronic miasms, which are deepest dynamic affections, and as per Kant, they can be eradicated by the way of high potencies, using high potencies of the simillimum, and therefore the cure can take place only by the use of highest potency as per Dr. Kent. He regarded the low potencies as superficial, trifling, effeminate, and thus palliative. तो उनके अनुसार लो पोटेंसी सिर्फ आउटर एस्पेक्ट पे ही ज़्यादा काम करती हैं और थोड़े ही समय के लिए वो आराम दे पाती हैं. दे आर अ लिटिल पैलिएटिव, सुपरफिशियल. अगर आपको क्योर की तरफ ले जाना है तो असेंडिंग स्केल में आपको हायर टू हायर पोटेंसीज देनी होगी, तभी डिजीज इरेडिकेट होगा. He regarded the low potencies as insufficiently dynamic and thus incapable of reaching the realm of cause, except for acute, which are in themselves superficial. लेकिन acute diseases में लो पोटेंसीज का भी वर्क इंडिकेट हो जाता है, क्योंकि एक्यूट डिजीज का जो कॉज है वो थोड़ा सुपरफिशियल है, फिजिकल एस्पेक्ट पे ज़्यादा है, तो वहाँ पे आपकी लो पोटेंसीज फ्रिक्वेंटली दी जा सकती है और ऐसे में वो काम करती हैं. लेकिन क्रॉनिक डिजीज में जितनी डायनामिक आपकी दवाई होगी, जितनी पोटेंटाइज आपकी मेडिसिन होगी, उतना ही वो कॉज तक, द रियलम ऑफ कॉज तक, यानी कि माइजम तक, वहां तक पहुंच पाएगी और इरेडिकेशन कर पाएगी. He regarded low potencies as too close to the matter and not close enough to the nature of the dynamic vital force to be of much use in eradicating the real dynamic causes of disease, that is, the miasms. So again, he is repeating the last aphorism in some other words, that low potencies are not close to the vital realm. So therefore, to eradicate the disease from the depth, that is, which are having the dynamic miasmatic cause, we have to give the higher potencies. He regarded the use of higher potencies and placebos thereafter, and patience as the good solid measure of artistic and true homeopath. अब उनके अनुसार जब आप होलिस्टिक अप्रोच को फॉलो करते हुए बेस्ट रेमेडी दैट इज द सिमिलिमम अगर आप हायर पोटेंसी और हाईएस्ट पोटेंसी में दे देते हैं 1 m 10 m cm जितना भी आपको ससेप्टिबिलिटी के अनुसार आपने सेलेक्ट किया है मेडिसिन को, वो आपने सिंगल डोज दिया है, उसके बाद आपको वेट एंड वॉच पॉलिसी रखना होगा और पेशेंट को बिजी रखने के लिए वी कैन गिव प्लेसिबो। और ये ही सबसे अच्छा आर्टिस्टिक तरीका है क्यों होम्योपैथ का क्योर की तरफ पेशेंट को ले जाने के लिए। ऐसे में मेडिसिन डायनामिक रियल्म तक जा करके और एंटी मैजमेटिक वे में डिजीज को एरेडिकेट कर पाती है और क्योर इस्टेब्लिश हो पाता है। He believed that to treat the diseased organism with homeopathic medicines for selection of potency, one must follow this principle that with mentals, highest potencies, and miasmatics must be covered, skin with lowest potencies, and acutes at the bottom without considering miasms. तो जहाँ पे आपको mental symptoms मिल रहे हैं, खासकर mental disease मिल रही है, you have to give high and the highest potencies along with covering the miasmatics. जहाँ पे आपको स्किन के केसेस मिल रहे हैं, यू कैन यूज 630 द लोअर पोटेंसीज, और जहाँ एक्यूट डिजीज है वहाँ पे भी आप बॉटम में यानी 6 और 30 यूज करके बिना माइजमेटिक कंसिडरेशन के उसको ठीक कर सकते हैं। लेकिन chronic disease में you have to consider the miasm. In acute disease, consideration of miasm is not necessary. In chronic disease, high potencies are indicated to establish the cure. Whereas in acute disease, we can give low potencies very frequently. He probably did not know about Cooper's and Burnett's work with low potencies, especially on cancer, but would not have supported it anyway because it conflicts with his high dynamization, high curability theory in such complex chronic diseases. If you see कूपर्स एंड बर्नेट्स वर्क, उन्होंने कैंसर के केसेस पे बहुत अच्छा काम किया हुआ है। 6x 3x and up to 30 they have given so frequently and they have cured various cases, benefited various cases. अगर लेकिन कैंट डॉक्टर कैंट इस चीज को जानते भी होते तो भी शायद सपोर्ट नहीं करते, क्योंकि ये कन्फ्लिक्ट करता है उनकी हाई डायनामाइजेशन हाई क्यूरेबिलिटी थ्योरी को, खास करके कॉम्प्लेक्स क्रोनिक डिजीज। कैंसर एक कॉम्प्लेक्स क्रोनिक डिजीज है, डॉक्टर कैंट उसमें हायर पोटेंसी देने को ही कहते। लेकिन बर्नेट और कूपर ने वहाँ लो पोटेंसी में भी अच्छा इफेक्ट शो किया है। सो हियर देयर इज सम कॉन्ट्राडिक्टरी व्यूज ऑन डॉक्टर कैंट्स वर्क. This is some criticism of Dr. Kent's higher theory concept. He was, or Dr. Kent was rather skeptical about use of no sorts in homeopathy and consider them mere as isopathic and thought that they were abused in homeopathy. Dr. Kent ने theoretically तो no sorts को isopathic माना, लेकिन उन्होंने अपनी प्रैक्टिस में no sorts को काफ़ी यूज़ किया है और इस कारण से उन्होंने नो सॉर्ट्स का रिप्रेजेंटेशन रिपर्टरी में भी बहुत कम किया है, क्योंकि बेसिकली फिलोसफिकली वो उसको बिलीव नहीं करते थे, लेकिन उन्होंने अपनी प्रैक्टिस में नो थॉट्स का ठीक ठाक यूज किया. He adopted a very narrow approach, so that the theory on Kant's philosophy on no thought is a point of criticism. कि उन्होंने यूज तो किया उसको, लेकिन उसे बिलीव नहीं किया कभी, और उसको अपनी रिपर्टरी में भी रिप्रेजेंटेशन नहीं दिया. He adopted a very narrow approach, absorbed in his spiritual visions of Swedenborgian theology and psychological theories, and was highly influenced with him. कैंट साहब ने डॉक्टर स्वीडनबॉर्ग की थियोलॉजी, मतलब रिलीजियस थ्योरीज के ऊपर बहुत ज़्यादा डिपेंड किया, बिलीव किया. He was a very religious person. Therefore, he adopted this very narrow approach that all the disease they begin in the spiritual or the dynamic realm. तो ये पॉइंट ऑफ क्रिटिसिज्म बनता है कि सोमेटोसाइकिक डिजीज भी होते हैं, कुछ डिजीज जो कि फिजिकल कांटेक्ट में आने से भी होते हैं कुछ चीज़ों के, और उसका मेंटल एस्पेक्ट बाद में पैदा होता है, दैट इज नोन एज सोमेटोसाइकिक एस्पेक्ट. तो उन्होंने उसको बिल्कुल नेग्लेक्ट किया और केवल साइकोसोमेटिक एस्पेक्ट पे ही बिलीव किया. He discouraged Dr. Richard Hughes for being a materialist, a low potency prescriber of homeopathy. डॉक्टर रिचर्ड ह्यूजेस जिन्होंने हैनीमैन, जो कि हैनीमैन के स्टॉन्च फॉलोअर थे, और उन्होंने हैनीमैन के कई वर्क्स को ट्रांसलेट भी किया है. लो पोटेंसी पे वो बहुत अच्छा काम किया करते थे. उनको डॉक्टर कैंट ने मटेरियलिस्टिक करार दिया और कहा कि ये लो पोटेंसी प्रेस्क्राइबर हैं, तो ये उचित नहीं है, ऐसा उन्होंने कहा. तो उन्होंने कुछ एस्पेक्ट्स को बहुत ज़्यादा नेग्लेक्ट किया, कि कुछ डिजीज़ मटेरियल ओरिजिन भी होते हैं, कुछ डिजीज़ डायनामिक ओरिजिन होते हैं, उन्हें दोनों को साथ लेके चलना चाहिए था. ये उनका एक क्रिटिसिज्म पॉइंट बनता है. Being miserable and unfulfilled in his personal life and his three marriages, he was attracted uh, to some religious aspects, and he was bound to explore some homeopathic metaphysical theories, and because of these life's mysteries. तो उनका पर्सनल लाइफ इतना मिजरेबल गुजरा that he had to marry for three times. So he was attracted to these metaphysical theories. ऐसा कहा जाता है कि उनकी पर्सनल लाइफ में बहुत ज़्यादा वो सुखी नहीं थे, इसलिए वो रिलीजियस एस्पेक्ट्स पे ज़्यादा उनका झुकाव था और मेटाफिजिकल थ्योरीज पे वो ज़्यादा जोर देने लगे. इसलिए उन्होंने हर चीज़ का कॉज, डायनामिक एस्पेक्ट और माइजमेटिक एस्पेक्ट पे ज़्यादा जोर दिया, और फिजिकल एस्पेक्ट को बिल्कुल भी उन्होंने जोर नहीं दिया और नेग्लेक्ट किया, ऐसा क्रिटिसिज्म में कहा जाता है. He wrote a book of lectures on homeopathic philosophy, which touches metaphysical aspect of homeopathy. उनकी कैंट्स फिलॉसफी में आप अगर गहराई में जाते हैं तो आपको पता चलता है कि उन्होंने मेटाफिजिकल एस्पेक्ट और डायनामिक एस्पेक्ट और स्पिरिचुअल एस्पेक्ट ऑफ होम्योपैथी और द कॉज ऑफ डिजीज पे बहुत ज़्यादा टच किया है. तो ये इसी चीज़ का एक रिप्रेजेंटेशन है कि वो बहुत अत्यधिक रिलीजियस हो गए थे बिकॉज ऑफ his miserable personal life. His philosophy is an amalgamation of Hahnemann's organon to some extent and Swedenborgian philosophy to greater extent, debating medical science to spiritual philosophies. क्रिटिसिज्म में कहा जाता है कि उन्होंने मेडिकल साइंस को स्पिरिचुअल साइंस बना के रख दिया. उन्होंने जो मेडिकल साइंस जिसमें कि हर चीज़ को आपको, जो कि चाहे साइकोसोमेटिक हो चाहे सोमेटोसाइकिक ओरिजिन हो, उसको उसके अनुसार ही ट्रीट करना होता है. उन्होंने केवल एक तरफा, यानी कि साइकोसोमेटिक एस्पेक्ट पे ही ज़्यादा जोर दिया, और डिजीज को सिर्फ डायनामिक माना, स्पिरिचुअल माना, और स्वीडनबर्गियन फिलॉसफी को बहुत ज़्यादा मिक्स किया हैनिमन्स ऑर्गेनन में, और इसको एक होम्योपैथी को स्पिरिचुअल फिलॉसफी बना के रख दिया. This is a point of criticism of Dr. Kent. He was unable to explain why Nux vomica and rust dogs will successfully act in lower potencies, even though they are not highly dynamized or they are not anti-miasmatic remedy, but they act beautifully in lower potencies. He was not able to explain this. Or why so many aluminum salt, silicate, and many other phosphorics are rarely used, besides they are highly dynamized in miasmatic medicines. And Sora is the mother of 7 by 8 of all chronic disease alone. Then why aluminum salt, silicates, they are not so effective? But the non-miasmatic Nux vomica, rust dogs in low potencies are so effective. So this thing disapproves his miasmatic theory about homeopathic medicine's application, the total deviation towards spiritual cause of all the diseases. This is an example, and people criticize Dr. Kent on this basis. So, Bitya, hope you liked and grasped this session. I have kept all the positive and negative aspect of Kent's theory in front of you. In case you have any query, please mention in comment box given here on YouTube. We will resolve your queries in a separate session which is allotted by university. So thank you all for being attentive during this session. See you again.